Every second Tuesday at 4 in the afternoon, 9-year-old Eli sat in room 3 of the Maple County Family Services Center. It was a small, windowless space with hard plastic chairs, a box of stale crayons, and a sign on the door that simply read, "Visitation only." Eli had been in foster care since he was 3. He'd lived in 12 different homes, which meant he'd said 12 goodbyes. His official file was filled with heavy words: disruptive, defiant, unbondable. But the truth was much simpler. No one had ever stayed. His birth mother was gone, lost to addiction. His father was a question mark in his file. After the last foster family said, "He's just too much," Eli gave up on trying to be good. What was the point? When love always had an expiration date. Then, Ms. Rivera walked in. She wasn't there for a visit. She was his new caseworker. She was in her late 30s, with warm eyes and her hair pulled back neatly. She carried a simple paper bag. "Brought you something?" she said, and instead of sitting across the table like everyone else, she sat right beside him. She pulled out a peanut butter sandwich, a juice box, and a small, empty notebook. "You hungry?" she asked gently. Eli didn't say a word, but he took the food and ate, slowly, as if he didn't quite trust this act of kindness. Week after week, she came. Not just to fill out paperwork and ask questions, she stayed for the full hour. She looked at his drawings, asking about the stories behind them. She listened intently when he finally whispered, "I don't want to go back to the group home." One rainy afternoon, Eli finally built up the courage to ask her the question that had been circling in his mind. "Why do you keep coming?" he asked, his voice barely audible. He expected to hear the usual, "It's my job." But she looked him in the eye and said, "Because you matter." He quickly looked away, kicking his feet against the chair leg. "People say that. Then they leave," he muttered. She reached out and took his small, trembling hand. "Then I'll just have to say it every week until you believe me," she promised. But life had other plans. Just 2 months later, Eli was moved again. It was an emergency transfer to a new county, which meant a new caseworker. There was no time for a goodbye. He was just gone. That night, Ms. Rivera sat in her car and cried. She felt like she had failed him, just like everyone else. But Eli hadn't forgotten her. 6 months later, a letter arrived at her office. The handwriting was messy, the letters uneven. It read, "Dear Ms. Rivera, I'm in a new home. It's okay. I keep the notebook you gave me. I write in it every night. I still wait for Tuesdays. Do you still think I matter?" Signed, Eli. She didn't just write back, she drove 3 hours to see him. She got the necessary permissions and sat with him in a new room. 3 this time, she made a promise that would change both of their lives. "Eli, I will never stop showing up for you." And she meant it. Through rain and snow, she came every second Tuesday. She kept coming even after he aged out of the system, after he got his first job, his own apartment, and a dog he named Scout. On his 18th birthday, Eli showed up on her porch holding 2 cups of coffee. "You kept your promise," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Now it's my turn." He handed her an envelope. Inside were adoption papers. "I know you're not my mom by blood," he said, his voice shaking, "but you're the only one who ever stayed. Will you be my mom for real?" Ms. Rivera now, Mom pulled him into a hug that was 15 years in the making, a hug that said, "I'm here. I'm finally here to stay." Today, a framed sign hangs in their kitchen. It reads, "Family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up even when it's hard." And every second Tuesday, they still go back to room 3, not for visits, but to welcome new foster kids with sandwiches, notebooks, and a quiet promise. "You matter, and I'm not going anywhere," because sometimes the greatest act of love isn't about grand gestures. It's about simply choosing to stay when the rest of the world has walked away. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please share it to spread the message that a little consistency can change a life.